On this edition of Emeril's Florida, we're heading to the 321 area code, Space Coast. And our first stop is Cocoa Village, to Cafe Margot. It's a fine dining restaurant serving up what the owner calls creative French cuisine.
Is that rich enough for you?
Yeah, but it's super good.
Next, we'll head down the road to Cocoa Beach and the Fat Snook. This is a family affair restaurant. The wife likes seafood and the husband likes steak. So they opened a restaurant that has both, and they're serving up some killer food.
His family says all the time, we're living the dream.
Yeah.
And that's what we feel like.
Then you'll meet another family of restaurateurs at Cafe Coconut Cove in Melbourne Beach. The family took a chance over 30 years ago when they moved here from Germany to open an authentic German restaurant.
And we came here, no address, nothing, only with the kids and 4 suitcases.
I love it.
Then I'm gonna share one of my recipes using some great Florida seafood, lobster and pappardelle. It's the Space Coast episode, and it's ready to launch on this edition of Emeril's Florida. Today we're going to tour a part of Florida that's played a big role in our country's history, the Space Coast. It's located on the east coast of the state. And it's best known as the home of the United States space program.
When you're on the Space Coast and you're looking for a great dining experience, look no more. Right here is Cafe Margot. Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Hey,
Nice to be here.
welcome to Cafe Margot.
Alex Littress is the owner of Cafe Margot, located in Cocoa Village. In 1990, he opened Cafe Margot as a classic French restaurant.
After a little while, we decided let's have some fun. And so we took a little creative license, and our menu now is what we would call creative French cuisine. We start with the French basics, but then we incorporate infusions, spices, ingredients from all over the world.
Chef, so what do you got for us today?
I'm making a duck lasagna.
Alex was the original chef at Cafe Margot, but he turned over those duties to his current executive chef, Emeril Lagasse, in 1995. But they still collaborate on a lot of the menu.
Each dish is multicultural. We had done a snail appetizer. Snails, you start thinking French, but we put it on Israeli couscous with Italian pancetta and Greek basil. And so all of a sudden now you've got a multicultural dish and all kinds of textures, all kinds of flavors. As long as they play well together, you know, we're having fun.
And then I add on her jewels and her jewelry.
Oh.
Pamela Littress is the pastry chef at Cafe Margot, and she helped open and design the restaurant. She comes up with a lot of original creations for the desserts. Each of the rooms in Cafe Margot has a theme. There's the green room, the pink room, and the animal room. And that's where we tried some of Alex and the chef's dishes.
Shrimp and scallops on angel hair pasta. The angel hair pasta has some saffron in it, so there's our Spanish essence there. Scallops from Nantucket, Florida white shrimp, feta cheese from Bulgaria.
I got a little bit of it there.
Florida shrimp play very well with international ingredients.
Really nice. Great flavors.
Next was the dish we saw the chef preparing in the kitchen.
Duck lasagna, white pecan, Long Island duck in a lasagna. The only thing that's truly Italian there is the cooking style, the name lasagna, and the Asiago cheese. Everything else is multicultural. Is that rich enough for you?
Yeah, but it's super good.
This is a twist on beef bourguignon with bison.
With bison.
Yes. Bison cooks similar to beef, especially when you're using bison shoulder instead of beef
No
shoulder.
fat.
Right.
With that in mind, you've added the bacon.
We have. We've taken away and we've put back. And keeping the bacon is reminiscent of a classic beef bourguignon.
Nice job.
We finished up with a couple of the desserts. The first was a buttermilk chocolate cake with hazelnut marzipan that was awesome. The second was a flourless chocolate cake.
Happens to be gluten-free for those with dietary restrictions. Lots of dried fruits inside.
Wow.
Valhorona chocolate is what's hitting you there. And then, of course, a pretty kitten on the side just to have the presentation all come together.
Delicious.
Nice.
Alex, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality, great food, and a great chef. I salute you.
Thank you.
Stay with us, folks. Our Space Coast episode continues with a visit to the Fat Snook. You'll meet a family that's really kicking it up a notch with the food they're serving. We'll be right back.
Emeril's Florida is sponsored by Visit Florida, promoting tourism in the Sunshine State. Emeril's Florida is sponsored by the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. Our mission is to protect, educate, and promote Florida's hospitality industry.
Our next stop on the Space Coast is Cocoa Beach. The Fat Snook is our destination.
You gotta check out this family-owned restaurant. They have decided to kick it up a notch. Hey, John.
Hello, Emeril. Welcome to the Fat Snook.
I am so delighted to be here.
We're glad to have you.
The Fat Snook is owned and operated by the Foy family. That's John and Mona, the parents, their daughter Lindsay, and their son Corey. John and Mona opened the restaurant in 2007 because they wanted a place that suited their dining preferences.
He's a steak lover, and I'm a seafood lover. And we'd go out to dinner, and we'd always, it's tough to get good seafood at a steak place, tough to get a great steak at a seafood place. So we wanted to create a place where you could get both.
John and Mona designed the restaurant to have a casual feel. And what's become the centerpiece, a chalk drawing of a Fat Snook, was not in the original plan.
The blackboards were supposed to be set up for our wine list, like back over here.
But the boards had to remain blank until they got their license to sell beer and wine.
One of my servers was like, I'm getting tired of looking at these blank boards, so could I draw a snook up there, smoking a cigar with smoke coming out? And I was like, it'll take him about 10 minutes. Well, he spent 3 weeks on it.
It's beautiful.
And he did a great job.
Yeah, it's really smoking good.
Mona describes the style of food they serve at the Fat Snook as Floribian, and she has a lot of input into the menu. But their son Corey runs the kitchen.
You let Corey kind of have full reign, or are you still holding the reign pretty tight?
Well, it depends on who you ask, if you ask me or Corey. But his palate has just grown tremendously for as young as he is. I mean, he's on it with the flavors, so we love to cook together.
Their daughter Lindsay used to work at the Fat Snook, but now she manages the family's second concept, Crush 11. The parents are pretty proud of what the family has been able to accomplish with both restaurants.
His family says all the time, we're living the dream.
Yeah.
And that's what we feel like.
It's always cool to see people loving what they do, and we sat down to try a few of the dishes that Mona and Corey have created.
What we have there is our sriracha pasta, semolina pasta that we make with sriracha, filled with local spiny lobster. It was caught right here in Cape Canaveral. And we do a coconut lobster sauce for some shiitake mushrooms and bok choy.
I love sriracha.
We were pretty excited when we made the pasta come out right with the sriracha in it.
Delicious.
Yummy.
Yes.
What we have here is our grilled duck breast. We wanted to show you. We do a little more than seafood. We actually make our own tasso spice, where we dehydrate the garlic and the onions, grind it up with ancho chili, white and black pepper, brown sugar. And we have a parsnip puree, and then we do a golden ale and pear mostarda on top of the duck. And then those are the cracklins. We love the cracklins.
Oh, this is so yummy. Perfectly cooked.
Next up was a local catch that both Mona and I are big fans of.
I love triple tail. That's one of my favorites. We do shredded plantains and our wet jerk rub. We mix it together and form a crust, pan sear it, and then serve it over what we call chocolate calypso beans. So we cook the beans down with Mexican chocolate, Maduro brown ale, all sorts of spices and peppers. So there's a little heat and richness on the bottom, and then we have a guava salad on top. You got it all. The salad is cold, the fish is hot.
You must be absolutely having a blast with your son and
I love it.
collaborating
I love it.
on these dishes. Because I can see that there's you, there's him. There's definitely a team effort here.
Mona finished up the meal with one of her favorite desserts.
What we have here is cinnamon smoked chocolate sorbet, and it's on a coffee caramel and then some cinnamon churros. Spoon it, take a bite of churro. You can dip the churro in there.
How'd you come up with those?
A lot of my customers always ask me what I've been smoking to come up with these crazy ideas, but I don't know, we just get to talking and collaborating and it goes from there.
Really good.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Thank you for coming.
Great food, great service, great family.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much. Cheers.
Stay with us, folks. We've got one more stop on the Space Coast, and this time, authentic German cuisine is on the menu at Cafe Coconut Cove. Break out the schnitzels and beer.
The Florida Office of Film and Entertainment is proud to partner with Emeril Florida and support the entertainment industry in the Sunshine State.
We continue our tour along Florida's Space Coast, and our next stop takes us to Melbourne Beach.
Hey folks, when you're on the Space Coast and just in the mood for German food, we've got the place for you. Come on in.
Cafe Coconut Cove has been serving up authentic German cuisine here for almost 30 years. It's located between the Intracoastal and the Atlantic Ocean in Melbourne Beach.
Hans Peter, how are you?
Emeril
So
here.
good to see you.
Wow, you hungry?
I am
you
hungry.
come with that German or local? That's nice.
I've been looking forward to this all day.
The Himmer-Roeder family owns and operates Cafe Coconut Cove. That's Dennis, Renee, Nicole, and Franz Peter. The family is originally from Aachen, Germany, where they owned a restaurant and butcher shop. They moved to the Space Coast in 1985 after vacationing here a number of times.
I sold my house and I have an elderly son. He grew up in a restaurant in Germany and give it to him.
Right.
And we came here, no address, nothing, only with the kids and 4 suitcases.
I love it.
When they moved here, they still wanted to be restaurateurs. So they bought this property that had an old restaurant on it. It's a great location, but the restaurant was a fixer-upper when they purchased it.
It took us over a year. I was working outside. I took the bar away, make a new bar in the kitchen, and make new
So you did a lot of it
tiles,
yourself.
everything.
He's done it all his life.
And my wife painted everything here, and then one day we're open.
And they've never really looked back. After they renovated the restaurant, they also added a second floor to the building, and that's where Franz and Nicole now live. They're not that involved in the day-to-day running of the restaurant anymore, but they'll come downstairs to help out when needed. Their daughter Renee now manages the front of the house,
All right, Chef, what you got going on?
Got your schnitzels here.
and their son Dennis is in charge of the kitchen. Since Dennis became the chef, he stayed pretty close to the menu his dad created and what customers have come to expect at Cafe Coconut Cove.
They know what they're used to, the consistency's there, so they keep coming back for their thing, so Wiener Schnitzels and all that.
Let's taste some food. Here's to you guys.
Cheers. Cheers.
The retirement.
Prost.
Come on, there's no retirement.
Chef Dennis started us off with one of the staples at Cafe Coconut Cove.
A pate made from calf's liver and pork liver. Serve with a little rye bread and just a little mustard. And some pears also, just have that savory sweet side of it. My dad was in the butcher business, so his family, that's how he grew up. He used to make all the hams and pates and
That is delicious.
bratwursts.
Really good.
Good.
Then we got to try the dish they're probably best known for.
Got the combination plate, got the Jaeger Schnitzel with the mushroom onion gravy, nice bratwurst grilled over open flame, then a sauerbraten, and some red cabbage.
That's exactly what I went for. Man, is that good.
Nice and tender.
Potato pancake?
Potato puff, we call it here.
Wow.
Mashed potatoes that we brown in the pan, get that little crunch on it.
Your dad was talking about, he doesn't use the word mashed potato.
No.
Potato puff.
Yes. And that's the sauerbraten, marinated for 4 days.
That is good, my friend.
Thank you. Got a pork and beef goulash. Also pretty popular. Actually, that's what my son always thinks that I'm doing when I come to work. Make goulash all day.
Just spot on, man.
Thank you.
If you've ever been to Germany, you know how much they love their desserts. It's no different at Cafe Coconut Cove.
Apple strudel, classic. Puff pastry, apples, raisins, almonds, served with vanilla ice cream.
Been a while since I had one of them. So good. And this?
Black Forest, another classic.
My dad's favorite. Mr. John's favorite right here.
All Pop's dishes, all his recipes. Tweaked a little bit here and there, maybe.
What a great meal. Classic, but yet modernized, just at the right level.
Very good.
Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome.
Thanks so much.
When we come back, I'm going to prepare a little tribute to the Space Coast with some local Florida lobster and pampardelle pasta. We'll be right back.
Emeril's Florida is sponsored by Visit Florida, promoting tourism in the Sunshine State.
So today, my little tribute to the awesome Space Coast is all about Florida seafood. And one of my favorites in the area are spiny lobsters. Yum. So basically, I've taken the spiny lobsters and have made a lobster stock at the same time poaching the lobsters for about 3 or 4 minutes, just so you can take the tail meat and the meat out of the shell. Beside this Florida lobster, I have some sweet corn and little teardrop tomatoes, also from Florida. And we're gonna make a pampardelle dish with fresh pampardelle noodles. We're gonna begin by salting our pasta water to cook the pasta in. And then we're gonna begin with some olive oil in our skillet. And we're gonna begin with some of that Florida sweet corn. A little salt, a little pepper. You know, when you really look at this dish, it's really just all about goodness. Corn, tomatoes, lobster meat. We're gonna add some shallots and a little bit of garlic in there. And we're gonna begin with a little bit of our lobster stock, some of the beautiful Florida teardrop tomatoes, and a little bit of tomato paste. Oh yeah, look at that color of that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just sort of let this begin to start cooking and just getting those flavors all together. Now to spice it up a little bit, we're gonna add a little bit of essence in here. And you can see it's starting to come up, it's starting to simmer. Just so nice. Let that evaporation happen, that concentration of flavors. All that yummy in there. Now the pasta is gonna take no time at all when you're working with fresh pasta as opposed to dry pasta, close to like a third of the time. Now, we're gonna take and add our fresh pasta in the water. We're gonna take our lobster meat right inside of our reduction sauce now. Oh yeah, look at this, huh? You'll see how the noodles here, the pampardelle noodles, are almost beginning to float already. There's always a little question when it comes to pasta dishes and using cheese with seafood. But for me, I love it. I like to put it inside of the sauce and make the sauce a little creamier. You see that? Not so much the intense flavor on the noodles, but inside of the sauce. Now we're gonna finish with a little bit of chives. Oh yeah. Our noodles are almost done. You don't want to overcook the noodles. I like to slightly undercook them just a bit. And then what I like to do is take them from the water right into our sauce. Oh yeah, don't worry about some of that pasta water getting in there. Now we're gonna just fold. You don't want to break all the noodles up. And now, a little secret from Emeril. Just a couple of little dabs like this of butter to just add a little bit more richness. And as that butter gets incorporated, it's really time for a feast. Nice family style dish with Florida lobster, Florida corn. There you have it. That's a lot of Space Coast love right there. I want to thank our friends at Stinky's Fish Camp for letting us rock out in your kitchen and guess what, folks? We'll see you next time on Emeril's Florida.